Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the Pacific Nations Cup 2023 competition, which does involve a new side. Last year, it was Fiji, Tonga, Samoa. They have kept their spots, but instead of Australia A, it is instead going to be the Japanese who make their way in as the fourth side in this fixture. It was quite a tricky one to find where to actually watch this game. It is taking place from Churchill Park, but Sky, they were very late putting it on, saying that they were having it here in New Zealand, but there's going to be some exciting rugby taking place between these two sides. That is for sure. A ground that we have seen the Fijian Drua play at throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. It's 27 degrees Celsius, 18 kilometres an hour of wind, and a lot of fast-paced rugby just around the corner. Looking through at this Fijian starting lineup, it will be Penny Ravai in the front row alongside Sam Matavesi and Masaki Donge. Then in the lock-in duo, it is Nasira Sila at number 4, and then Maya Navanua slots in as the number 5. Tangi Valu at 6, Lavani Botia, the big man from La Rochelle, starting this game at number 7, and Albert Wisui, another man who plays his rugby overseas, gets the opportunity at number 8 for this Fijian side. And I should mention the last time these two sides faced off, the Fijian side were able to win 36 points to 0. That was in 2022. So I'm curious to see how different, now with a few new players in both lineups, the progression of the Fijian Drua, few international caliber players making their way into this Tongan side, wondering how much of a difference it will make for them. Overall, looking through at the back line, it is Frank Lamani and Caleb Muntz as the 9-10 combo. Joshua Tuisova, a brilliant centre, a brilliant winger, brilliant player. Anywhere he is out on the field, he's going to be dangerous. Gets the start at inside centre with the captain Waisianaya Thalevu on his outside. And number 13, Ravatamanda at 11, Wainaniolo out on the other wing, and Mangwala at number 15 to close out this Fijian starting side. We will quickly look through at the chat. We have got Hamish from Tyson. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. The boss man didn't make it in time. Vinay Bossi is out. Hopefully he'll be available next test, says DK. And I think for both of these sides, going to be a very important game for working out chemistry, working out combinations that they want to take forward towards that Rugby World Cup, which is only just around the corner. They're actually showing the Women's World Cup in real time. Let's just say I wish it was the All Blacks. Nothing against women's soccer, says Kerman there. I mean, the good news is if there's free-to-air of that World Cup, there's a chance that the Rugby World Cup is also going to be free-to-air for people around the world. And Go Tonga, says Tyson West. And also Tosaviti Tosso, says DK. And there as well, but they are just showing the skipper of the Tongan side. It is going to be none other than Sonatane Takalua. Now, he was the captain last year for this Tongan side. He's been there a while, and he is one of the more consistent players we have seen for Tonga over the last few years or so. But this is Samoa's lineup. That's the wrong one. There we go. There's Tonga. And this match, Fisia starts at number 1, Seula Mai at number 2, and Ben Tame Funa, the big man, gets the start at tight head prop. It is going to be Halaleva Fafita at 4 with Sam Lausi as the number 5. Halai Whanua at number 6. Solomoni Funaki at number 7. We've seen that man playing for Moana Pacifica throughout the season of Super Rugby Pacific. And Via Fafita, the man to start as number 8. I'm excited to see what he can do after seeing what he's done for the Hurricanes in Super Rugby not too long ago. Since going overseas, he's found himself some success as well. But Sanatane Takalua, the starting number 9, they have got Mosia as the 10. So no sign of Lima Sopawanga at this stage for Tonga in their starting side. Malakai Whekatoa at number 12. Amapo on his outside, and Solomoni Kata on the left. Phinia Nisi on the right, and Charles Piatau, as number 15. But those are the starting lineups. The benches are going to be very important for these two sides as well. It's on Sky Sport now, Sky Sport Elite channel. Yep, it is indeed. So channel 50, I believe, here in New Zealand. When you're doing the Blues Co-op Career Mode Season 2 with George, says Bonnie, that is actually the first person who has asked for that series to come back. So I guess that shows you the amount of interest that there was in that series when we did end up doing it. Maybe one day we will look to return it. But yeah, it didn't seem like too many people actually watched that series or enjoyed it. So that's why it did disappear. Go Finney and Nisi, says Tyson. Hello, Amish, says Brandon. Welcome in. And it's live on NITV in Australia, says Tyson. Yeah, there are a few options to be able to watch it, which is good news because I was checking last night at about 4 a.m. and there was just nowhere to watch the game. They hadn't announced anywhere, but now they have got it, and that is very good news. Fiatao has said, hey, mate, what app are you watching the game on, mate? So I'm watching on Sky Sport now for us here in New Zealand. In Australia, it is on NITV, like Tyson West mentioned, and then I think it's on, is it CBS or something else? They've actually got a post on the Oceania rugby page that said about where it was going to be available to watch, because I know that they did the Tonga versus Australia A game on YouTube, which was actually fantastic to show off the rugby that was taking place. When are you going to come back to the Beer Pro? Says Brandon, little bit of a similar boat to the other series, and that's the case of there weren't really too many people who were watching that series when we were doing it. But it's also the fact that Rugby Challenge 4 has quite a few glitches. So anytime we tried to film, things would go wrong, the game would crash, and it reset all of our progress once we made it quite far. Kerman has said 9:50 p.m. Friday here, celebrating my birthday. With Hamish says, Kerman, so hopefully you have been enjoying your birthday so far. 9:50 p.m. So you've got a couple hours left by the time Samoa versus Japan takes place, which is the next game that we are covering on the channel. You would have had the birthday all done and dusted. The Tongan changing shed at Churchill Park. This is going to be an entertaining game of rugby. And it just has that feeling like this is a brand new Tonga side. We've managed to see them get the victory over Australia A in last week's game. They had a few other changes compared to what they have got in this contest. But I believe that this game, they will still look to be strong. They'll look to be physical early on, up against the Fijian side. And discipline's going to be important for both of these sides. I would say that's going to be one of the keys for victory. Looking through at the Fijian bench, it is Ikanaveri, Maui, and Tangi as the front row replacements. Te Ahuaru Thareketa Vita has the opportunity to make his debut for the Fijians off the bench. A brilliant player for Tasman in the Bunnings EBC, a brilliant player for the Fijian Drua in Super Rugby Pacific, and now the chance to become a brilliant player at international level for the Flying Fijians. Viliami Mata at number 20, Matawalu, Ben Vulavula, and Semi Radradra, the last three for Fiji. Off the bench, looking at Tonga's bench, it will be Sam Molly, Fotueke, and Kalamatangi as number 18, Mafi and Vailanu, the other two forward replacements. Then Manupaya, Pellegrini on debut, and Tamafalau, the last man who was playing a little bit of the sevens for Tonga. Now the chance at the 15s to really make the impact. We have got there the showing lineups now, says Tyson West. They are indeed. And also Hamish took a little off. A great haircut in A, says Kerman. Yeah, we've got a little bit less here now, which I guess as long as it's growing back, it's all right. But once it stops growing back, then we will have to really be strategic with how much we take off. Semi Radradra on the bench. That's an interesting impact player with a lot of X factor. Yep. He is going to be one of those guys that if he comes off the bench and plays like he did in that Barbarians versus World XV game, there could be some fireworks late for the Flying Fijians. And with it being 27 degrees Celsius, both of these sides, by that stage of the match, there's going to be some real deep breaths being taken. The lungs are going to be burning. The heart rate is going to be absolutely through the roof. And whichever side looks fresher near the end of the game has a very good chance of winning this one. Sonatane Takalua looking fired up, ready to lead his Tongan side out onto the field for the first time in this Pacific Nations Cup. I can see Via Fafita in the background. I am more than excited to see that man in action for this contest. They're coming out now, says Tyson West. They are indeed. We must be watching the same coverage. But Charles Piatau, I think that he will be an X-Factor player in number 15. But also, I think a lot of those international guys who are now coming into the side for Tonga, people have their eyes on them. But I'm looking at Solomoni Kata, a man who had a very good Super Rugby Pacific season, does play very well in the Bunnings EBC, and just has so much power to be able to drive forward. Where is he watching, says Mr. Rainbow? I am watching on Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand. And what platform you're watching on. But it is also available on NITV in Australia as an option if you are in Australia. If you're anywhere else, I think the Oceania Rugby Facebook page, they have actually posted where you can watch this game, which was originally going to be a slightly earlier kickoff. I believe it was going to be 12 New Zealand time, but maybe due to that wind, or maybe not due to the wind, maybe due to the heat, they decided to delay it just that little bit further, get it towards 3 p.m. But they're showing Charles Piatau there. Man can be very dangerous at the back. Look forward to seeing what he will do in this game. The first ever All Blacks XV Haka, says Bonnet, in there as well. And we should mention the side that faced the All Blacks XV, the Japan XV, and also Japan, they have made up a side in this Pacific Nations Cup. They will be a strong team, and they will be going head-to-head with the Samoans in Japan. That is in 3 hours' time. We are also covering that game on the channel. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The two sides now making their way. SBS. It may be SBS, perhaps. What I say, CBS. Yeah, I think that they had it on the Oceania Facebook page where they could watch, and it was Sky TV, NITV, and then also, yeah, I believe SBS. As a third, unfortunate the teams in Fiji, Tonga, and Samoa cannot compete against the Tier 1 teams due to in the Rugby World Cup due to financial resources off the pitch. Struggle just to make it every 4 years, says DK. And the big thing is, I think Fiji have got a fantastic chance in this upcoming Rugby World Cup. Tonga as well, they have started progressing nicely. It's just a shame they're in such a tough group, having Ireland, South Africa, and Scotland all in their pool. Yeah, Fiji, they're in a group with Australia, Georgia, as well as Wales and Portugal, I believe. So if they can get their rugby going nicely, they could find their way through to the quarterfinals in the future. And Japan versus Samoa will be a very popular one, says Brandon there. And is Falau playing today? He is not. They have decided to rest him for this contest. I believe they are saving him for next week's game, which is Fiji versus Samoa. They'll look at that past year's result of 36-0 in favour of Fiji. And, oh, sorry, I actually said that around the wrong way. They will be resting him for Tonga versus Japan. That has taken place due to how strong this Japanese side can be. We are just seeing players having handshakes before it. What are you watching it on? I am watching it on Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand. But in Australia, it's on NITV and SBS is another option. Fijian guys shaking hands is huge, says Hanoi. And NITV in Oz, says Hanoi in there as well. But yeah, we were looking for a way of watching it last night, and it was very, very tricky to be able to find it. Luckily, they did announce it about maybe 2 hours ago for us here in New Zealand that Sky were going to be providing the coverage for this matchup. You see Lavani Botia there in the lineup. He is an absolutely brilliant player, plays in La Rochelle's side, can play in the forwards, can play in the backs. The perfect all-rounder for them. And this one, and Samoa won the Pacific Nations Cup last year. You should pump them up as well, says Rick. Or sorry, it might be, is it Reason? Maybe. They are playing in the next game up against Japan, so that's going to be a great one to see how they end up going. They have got a slightly tougher group, I would say, in that Rugby World Cup, having Argentina, Japan, as well as the English in there. But if Samoa can get it right, like they have been one of those sides that people underestimate, but you shouldn't, because as soon as you underestimate them, they beat you. And old centre boy says Blues Nate, he is indeed Lavani Botia, but he will be actually playing at number 7 in this matchup. So he adds that nice physical presence in the 4-pack. We'll quickly show the starting lineups while we have got the national anthems of both sides. For the Fijians, it is Pini Ravai at number 1, Sam Matavesi as the starting number 2, and then Masaki Donge at number 3. Nasila Silla and also Maya Navanua will make up the locking duo in this contest. Tangi Valu at number 6, Lavani Botia at 7, the man we were just mentioning, and then Albert Tuisui will be there at number 8. Frank Lamani and Caleb Muntz make up the 19 combo for Fiji in this one. Joshua Tuisova at 12, Naya Thalevu on his outside at 13, and he also is the captain for this contest. Ravatamanda, a player who played brilliantly for the Fijian Drua throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Gina Wainanyolo out on the other wing, and Mangala at number 15. Then for the Tongans, it is going to be Fisiahoi Seula Mali at number 2, and Ben Tamefuna as the starting tight head prop. Halaleva Fafita at 4 with Sam Lausi, the big man, at number 5. He'll be looking to get a line-out steal or two throughout this one. Halai Fanua at number 6, Solomoni Funaki at number 7, and Vaya Fafita at number 8. Sonatane Takalua as the 9. Mausia gets the big opportunity here as the 10. Fekatoa and Tamapo making up the midfield. Solomoni Kata as the number 11. Finia Nisi out on the other wing, and Charles Piatel at number 15. So those are the two starting sides the action just around the corner. Japanese are loaded with expatriate players qualified via World Rugby eligibility laws, all of whom are well rewarded with lucrative contracts, says DK. And also so much strike power for the Fijians, says Anoi. And also, I see your message, Brandon. Hope you're well. Can you read my message? Are you doing the Australia versus All Blacks next week? We are indeed. Are you going to do a build-up for it? Most likely we will have some sort of build-up in there, whether or not that is an interview once again with Norm Maxwell, or whether we do have a few other things thrown in there as well. For that one, Lavani Botia is a fierce competitor, danger man for the Heineken Cup champions. Ask Ronan O'Gara, says DK. Yeah, an absolutely brilliant player is Lavani Botia. And the fact that if they have a couple injuries in that back line, it can be like, just go into the centres. No harm done. And then they can bring on another option. And their fullback, perhaps, Te Ahawaru Wharikadavita, could be the option. They are doing the anthems in Australia now, says Tyson West. Same as here in New Zealand. What platform has it live? Says King of Kikau. Hopefully I said that correctly. So for us in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sports Select. In Australia, it's on NITV. And then I believe SBS is the other option to be able to watch this game. So there are a few around, depending on what subscriptions you have. I think, is NITV in Oz free, Tyson? Do let me know. But hopefully it is. And there are a few free ways of being able to watch this contest. But the national anthems are done. Fiji coming as favourites in this contest, I should mention. Yeah, it's going to be a very entertaining game, that is for sure. And free, says Tyson. So yeah, very good option to be able to watch if you are in Oz. Captain Naifa Levu lining up with his side. They are doing the pre-match rituals, and then we are underway for this exciting Pacific Nations Cup fixture. Now, next week, I should mention it will be Tonga versus Japan, Samoa versus Fiji. Those are the two fixtures that we do get to see anywhere stateside. Now, I apologize, but I'm not too sure where stateside is, sadly. I should know, more than likely, but do let me know. I think the three options they have got, though, is SBS as well as the ITV, or not ITV, sorry, NITV, and then Sky in New Zealand. Kalitahi Tonga and doesn't Tuisova start on the wing? And yep, NITV is free. Well, he does have that option, but the fact that they've got him at inside centre, we slightly predicted it in the Fiji squad announcement. We said that they put him in as an inside centre kind of role rather than being able to play on the outside, which is going to be massively beneficial for the Fijians in this one, just because there's so many great wingers that they don't know how to squeeze them in, unfortunately, in the United States. I know that Flow Rugby will have the next game that has taken place between the two sides, but yeah, they won't end up having the first game, unfortunately, out of the two. And you're coming to my special event tonight at 8:35 p.m. Hamish, if you've got time, says Brandon. Unfortunately, we may have to miss that one just with how busy we are for today. And Johnny Dyer made the Fiji squad. There's Blues, Nate. Because I know that he wasn't initially in there, was he? But it's good to see that now he's going to get that opportunity to have a chance if he has made his way in. I know that he missed the first initial selection, though. And can you watch it on Sky Sport? It is on Sky Sport, on Sky Sport Select here in New Zealand. And Fiji 28, Tonga 20. Oh, sorry, Fiji 21, Tonga 28 is the prediction there from Face Atara. And also, hey, everybody, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. Welcome in. They are just showing Malakai Fekatoa could be a key in the midfield here for the Tongan boys. But Caleb Muntz looks like he is about to kick this one off. The exciting thing is he is on debut, but he will feel right at home because he has got quite a few of those Fijian draw players that he would normally be playing alongside. He is going to be there out there on the park with them. Good to him. And the says Blues, Nate. If Fiji could lend a guy or two to solve the Wallaby backline crisis, says Anoi. And that's the thing. The Wallabies at the moment, they have a little bit of a reshuffle going on, it would seem. I'm excited to see what they do at that Bledisloe Cup. They've got the countdown starting, 8 seconds away from this game getting underway, ladies and gentlemen. And the Pacific Nations Cup for 2023 is now underway. It is kicked off high by Caleb Muntz. Plenty of height on it and nicely taken just outside of the 22 of Tonga by Via Fafita. A big man who is dangerous. We have seen that in the past for the All Blacks. We have seen that for the Hurricanes. Now Malsia does kick the ball down the middle of the park for the clearing. Boot now nicely taken by Ngwala. Gives it off to Albert Tuisui, who drives at the line towards the halfway. Fiji in position. Lamani looks to shift it left. Couple big forwards available there. Looks like it's going to be Maiana Vanua who has the first carry of the forward pack, or the lock-in duo, I should say, in this fixture. Now Lamani going to be putting the ball high. It's about a 20-metre kick downfield, not taken cleanly by Sonatane Takalua, but it is a knock-on from Penny Ravai. Tonga end up with the loose ball, and Sam Lausi now drives up to about 30 metres out from the Tongan line. Now beautiful offload going to, I believe it is going to be their number 6 in this one, Halai Fanua. I'm used to seeing Via Fafita with that 6. I had to hesitate for a second. Nice wide cut-out pass, but it's stolen by Ravatamunda inside Boranaya Thalevu, who almost dropped it, but manages to regather. Tackled by Finianisi, 25 metres out now from the line. Fiji on attack, going short. So Mangwala with a nice pass off to Ravatamunda. Gets the offload on the inside to Muntz, who does take it to ground and is almost put into touch. Yes, he is. And that has started off at quite a hectic pace, ladies and gentlemen, for this game. But that is exactly what a lot of people were expecting, to see both sides go out with a hiss and a roar and try their absolute best to get the first moment of the game. What channel stream can I watch? There's the handler. So your best option is Sky Sport here in New Zealand. If you have got anything available in terms of Australia as your location, NITV as your other bet, and Waianiolo no. Says Ruben in there as well. Yeah, Gita Waianiolo, he's going to be out on the right wing for this game. They have been going left, which means Ravatamunda has been right in the action throughout the early stages of this fixture. But now Tonga have been able to retain their line out, only 5 metres out from their line. Now they just take a couple more hits up of the ball. Sonatane Takalua looks to roll it back now, and they will look to get this one down the field. A tie. Got some decent distance on that one as well. Sonatane Takalua taken quickly by Celestino. Ravatamunda decides against going for the quick throw. And it is now going to be the line out for Fiji. And morning hate in there and having a few beers after late night shift, says Mumbo Jumbo Kiwi. And also who's winning, says Manu. At the moment it is 0-0 after only 2.5 minutes. It seems like the scoreboard's a little bit slow starting, but as soon as it starts, it should keep on updating. Nicely swatted away by Fiji. And they retain their own line out. Now, big run forward from Joshua Tuisova. Makes out of 2 tackles, finds the pass on the outside to Naya Thalevu. Now Mwala goes on the inside, 5 metres out from the line. And Fiji once again find themselves in a very dangerous position on the field. Where the hell is the free streams at? It is NITV, your best bet for a free option. Sky Sports Select if you're in New Zealand. Knock on there from Lavani Botia, but I believe the Fijians had the penalty advantage, so they will go back for that initial penalty in favour of Fiji. But Lavani Botia, he has been doing brilliantly for La Rochelle in the top 14. They are defending Champions Cup victors. And now 5 metres out from the line, the Fijian side, they decide to go for the for the line out rather than the quick tap. Israel playing. He is not playing in this game. Israel Folau, they are saving him for next week's game up against Japan on the other side of the planet, says Robert there. And also we have the tankers on. Tuisova, good work, says DK. But now the rolling maul for the Fijians as they march only 2 metres out from the line. They've got about 4 men falling down. It's a penalty try to Fiji. And this could be dangerous. Number 6. I believe that is going to be Tanginoa Halafanua. I believe he will be going off the field for 10 minutes here, unfortunately. They've said that he's pulled it down only a couple metres out from the line. The Fijians will end up with a penalty try, so the 7 points on the board. And Halafanua, the man going off the field for 10 minutes. Below Hamish, who's the ref today, they have got Paul Williams as the referee in this contest. And Dosa Vititoso, says DK. And also they scored Fiji, says Tyson West. And, can I have a link, please, says Ruben. Unfortunately, the way that I am watching it is through Sky Sports Select, which is a New Zealand subscription-based one. And thank you, chat. NITV is the go, says the handler. So, yeah, if you're in Australia, NITV is a great option. In fact, even if you're outside of Australia, they may still have it available. So, yeah, I'd recommend giving that a look if you are trying to catch the coverage. But 7-0 now for Fiji. 5 minutes into the contest, they have started this game at a frantic pace. And now with Tonga only having 14 men on the field, it's going to be a lot more tricky for them throughout this next 10 minutes. With it being 27 degrees Celsius as well, it's not helping them one bit. That's gone just short of the 10 meters off the kickoff. So now Fiji will have themselves the scrum on the halfway line. Good hard work, good decision. Line out them ball, come on, Vitti, says DK. And they will be looking to try a few aggressive style of play throughout this matchup, mainly because they have got Wales, they've got Australia, and they've also got Georgia in their group for the Rugby World Cup. So they need to find ways of being able to score up against competitive sides that may be able to shut down certain types of plays. Anyone got a link to watch? NITV is your best bet. If you just chuck it into Google, you may be able to watch it depending on whereabouts you are in the world. And weather and ground conditions there, Hamish says, Mr. Billy, 27 degrees Celsius, ground's looking pretty dry, and also about 18 kilometres of wind for this contest. Tuisova's first run or first touch ran over Fekitoa, which is something not too many people can say. Being able to run over Fekitoa in the first touch of a game or at all throughout a fixture. But now Lamani with the scrum on the halfway line, the Fijian side decide to go to the right now. Tuisova just ripping up the turf like he had tyres on him and it was playing in the mud. Now Lavani Borti, a big shot coming on him by Via Fafita. Now Lamani looking to use it to the left. Another penalty advantage against Tonga, this time for not rolling away. Muntz goes to the left, and Levu goes straight through the gap, the big man, and for the corner. Fiji score again. And it's a brilliant try for the Fijian side. And also, no excuses, Fiji and Tonga should be well customized to the tropical weather conditions, regardless in Fiji. And look like my guy Fekitoa will have a long day at the office. And also, we have got there. Hey guys, I found NITV for Australian viewers. Just create the account. The game will start streaming. Yep. So that is your best bet. If you're anywhere, it seems like it doesn't just have to be in Australia for the NITV option. But great run from Naya Thalevu to go through the gap, drove for the corner, got over the line and scored the try. The second now of the match for Fiji. The first try, though, scored by a player. And bro, why is the scoreboard still 0-0? It is an online scoreboard and it doesn't like me. Seems to be the case. But the good news is, hopefully, it will catch up in the near future. Fingers crossed anyway. But yeah, currently the real score is sitting 12 points to 0 in favour of the Fijians. Who scored, please, says Ruben. It was Waisianaya Thalevu, the captain of this Fijian side. Leading from the front, you could say there. But Caleb Muntz now with the conversion attempt. Fiji scored twice now, says the 31 Titan. They certainly have. First try, penalty try. And then the second, it was Waisianaya Thalevu who got himself the second. Just seeing whether or not, it seems like the scoreboard, they are just having a few technical difficulties for the online side of things. We might have to create our own one depending on how it does update. Muntz hits the left-hand post, and that will keep the score now at 12-0 in favour of Fiji. I'll quickly do while we are at it, just to have something. Real score is 12 for Fiji, and the 0 for Tonga. We'll put that. There we go. Have that down the bottom, just while it is not updating. That's the second time Tuisova ran over Fekitoa, says Titan. Who scored the second, please, says Ruben. Naya Thalevu. That was the second try of the contest. The first being scored by no one because it was a penalty try in favour of Fiji. And now Frank Lamani looking to put this ball up high on about, I'd say, about 30 metres there. And it's nicely knocked back by Tonga, but the possession back in favour of the Fijians for Asoana Silasila for half a second until it was taken back by Tonga, and now they have got themselves the possession in the form of Tamapo. Now the penalty goes the way of Fiji. Side entry against Tonga. They are looking ruthless at the moment here, the flying Fijians. And also, Awesome Bro says, Lauricio, hopefully I said that correctly. And also, how do we watch the game? It is on NITV in Australia or pretty much anywhere in the world. It seems like that is working. So that is your best bet, NITV. Tuisova gunning for Fiji's massive contract, says Hanoi. The inexperience a month shown. Maybe Frank Lamani needs to do the goal kicking better option, says DK. Although, to be fair, it is the first kick of the day with a little bit of wind to contest with. I feel like it's a little bit too soon to chuck Muntz under the bus just yet. And depending on what they have as their 9 option throughout their World Cup, perhaps they are looking at another option of kicking other than Frank Lamani. Maybe they want him to just have the halfback role. Sam Matavesi throws the ball in now for the Fijians. They are once again 5 meters out from the line, and I should mention they are still playing up against a 14-man Tonga side. Is it going to be another penalty advantage there? Roland Matavesi goes over, and it's the 3rd try of the match now for Fiji. In ITV. Sorry, man, really agitated, not being able to watch. So it is in I, so just like that. Hopefully it comes through the message, but yeah, letter N, letter I, TV. Is Tonga actually losing? They are. They are losing 17 points to 0 at the moment after only about maybe 13 minutes in this contest. But this Fiji side have just started so quickly. They're being relentless, and they just aren't stopping at this point. And Fiji mauling better than the Wallabies, says Hanoi. And Ozabra says PNKA. This could be a high-scoring affair in one team's favour at the moment, that is for sure. And damn, Fiji is smashing Tonga right now on 17-0. And are they streaming on Sky? It is also on Sky, Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand. That is on channel 50 for anyone watching in New Zealand. It might be on Sky Sport Pacific as well, but I could be wrong about that. I know that they normally end up having the Pacific Nations Cup. And great start, continue the hard work. Fiji, poor discipline by Tonga, being punished. Tosaveti, says DK, and that's the draw for y'all, says Titan. And yeah, over half the side in this contest for the Fijians are a part of that Fijian draw setup. So it's great to see the progression that they've been able to have over recent times. Months now to take the kick, has gone down the middle, and that will now make the score 19-0 in favour of Fiji. And also we have got there Kalitahi playing smart. They preserve players from injuries as the Rugby World Cup is in a few months' time. Says Tui and Fiji to pull, or the top of Pool C in the World Cup. And Fiji got to get past Samoa first, and that is the game taking place next week. We will be covering that one on the channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're also covering Samoa versus Japan, which has taken place a little bit later on today, but that is going to be a knock on there from Fiji. So now Tonga have got themselves the possession. Bentame Funa playing halfback, gives it off to Seula Mali, who's now 10 metres out from the line. Sonatane Takalua looks to use Fekatoa, tackled low by the big man Maya Navanua, but 10 metres out from the line. The Fijians give away the penalty, and Tonga now, they've got the option of a tap or a kick for the corner. I believe they will look towards the corner in this one, and crowd going must be going nuts. They certainly are. Beautiful afternoon for a game of rugby. It looks pretty sold out at the moment at Churchill Park, and they are getting their money's worth for the way that their side are playing in this one. But Mulcia kicks it to the touchline, 5 metres out from the line now, and Tonga will have themselves their first attacking opportunity of the day. Come on, Tonga, says Balti there. And all the Pacific teams are really good this year. In my opinion, so excited for the World Cup. Says live for, or live for, yeah, sure. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Now throwing this ball in, nicely taken by Via Fafita, asking for the penalty. As Fita still yet to touch the ground, so the advantage for Fiji engaging early in the rolling maul is now in favour of the Tongans. Takalua goes across to Malakai Fekatoa, ball in line for Mulcia. Wide cut out pass. Now to Solomoni Kata. Tried to get to the corner, but just pushed into touch. And they are going to be checking this one, but I believe they will first of all. No, they're going back for the penalty, 5 metres out. Solomoni Kata just unfortunately running out of space. Can I have a link, please? Says Ruben. It is on NITV in Australia. He's your best bet there. The link that I'm using is Sky Sport with a subscription for it. Yeah, didn't get that ball down, hit the corner flag, but also had a foot in touch first. And TMO, what's the call, says DK. Straight away they said no try, and it was fair enough. It was in the touch. Unfortunately, Abhishek has said thoughts on Georgia's chances this World Cup. I feel like they are a part of the group that could have the upset because they've got Fiji, Australia, Georgia, Wales, and Portugal in that group. And for me, that group could be, there's 4 or 5 of those teams, to be honest, that could do decently. Mainly 4 of those teams. Come on, Tonga, says Mali, and no try pushed him out. He did indeed. He wish he had it, says Titan. I mean, I said that Solomon Kata was one of those players to watch out for throughout this fixture. And he certainly has done well for Moana Pacifica throughout Super Rugby Pacific. But now the rolling maul of the Tongans is getting underway again. It was actually very nicely taken by Halai Whanua. They're over the line, and Tonga get their first try now of the fixture. The rolling maul, I believe it was Seula Mali who has been able to score it. Yes, it was. Beautifully done by Tonga to be able to fire in a game that they needed points on the board as quickly as possible after going down 19 points to nil. That will be their first try of the match. Slowly closing that gap. Bulavanaka to all the Fijians, says DK. And Tonga come back, says Annoy in there as well. Yeah, very nicely done by the Tongans. And the patience to go for that rolling maul, just persisting with it. They've got some huge forwards, definitely in that definitely in that front row. Fisi Ahoy and Tame Funa. They both help drive the number 2, Seula Mali, towards the try line. And Tonga scored. Indeed, I know well, Fiji has always belonged to us, hasn't it? Or has it? How fascinating, says Mali. And as an Australian representative for Flash Score, I've sent off an email to investigate why our scores for this game are updating so slowly. Sorry, it's not up to speed, says Victory till I die. No worries. I mean, it's quite cool that you work for Flash Score or a representative for them. So hopefully it is all going smoothly. At the end of the day, as long as there's some sort of scoreboard, that's all that matters. But now Malsia looking to line this one up. And it is a mile to the left. In fact, if they had added 2 more posts, may have only just snuck over them as well. We have ourselves a game, says King of Cacao. And also, what channel is this game on? It is on Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand or NITV for pretty much anywhere else in the world. Fiji's forward coach not happy with that. Need to improve their set piece defense, says DK, because they'll be looking at this game as a World Cup prelim. And for them in this contest, if you do end up in the scenario of conceding softer tries, great run from Sanatane Takalua. He chips it in behind, trying to get in the foot race with Frank Lamani, but he's been able to cut him off nicely. And now Albert Tuisui has ended up with the ball again for the Flying Fijians. They sit on the halfway line. Lamani goes back across to Penny Ravai. And also we have got there, game sounds intense. It's quick-paced. I don't know if both sides are going to be able to keep up this momentum for the full 80 minutes. Definitely not playing in 27-degree heat. That is another penalty, this time going to Tonga for the side entry from Fiji. And Big Nate Fiji says Annoy. And then Fiji, we have also got there Tonga with the dry guys, says Alex Boy. And Fiji belongs to Tonga, says Marley. And also we have got there Fiji belongs to God, says Francois. Nicely kicked downfield by Malsia. And whereas Falau, he is rested for this game. I believe the reasoning behind it is because they do want him to be fresh for that contest taking place not too far in the future up against Japan, but also they want to make sure that they have him for that Rugby World Cup. I think that is going to be a big factor for them, making sure that he is fresh, because it was actually the Pacific Nations Cup last year, I believe, that we saw Israel Folau, Charles Piatel, and Malakai Fekatoa all getting injured in their first match. But now, going to the right-hand side, Sanatane Takalua for the Tongans. They are only sitting a few metres out from the line now, and it's Solomon Funaki now crashes towards the line. 19 minutes into this fixture, the penalty advantage again in favour of Tonga. Tamapo in the midfield runs it hard. Takalua slings it across to the man who did end up getting himself yellow carded a little bit earlier on. Halai Whanua over the line again for Tonga. 2 from 2. Who is it this time? It's going to be their big number 4, Leva Fafita, who scores the try. This contest is heating up big time. Fiji got off to a hiss and a roar, but now the Tongans have started their comeback. And also we have got their stop living in the past, live in the present, says Francois. And Tonga about to score, and they just did. And Tonga is just a dot in the ocean, says Francois. Although at the moment, that dot in the has got themselves back-to-back tries over the Fijian line. Big bump off from, I believe it was Sam Lausi, to help set it up. And then around the side, Leva Fafita playing lock for this contest. Second try of the match for Tonga. Nicely done. Lamani was not going to be able to stop him from here. That is for sure. I told you Tonga will surely come back, says Tui. And that is the beauty of Pacific Nations rugby, is no matter what, you know you're going to see a fast-paced game. You know it's going to be physical, and you know that no side's out of it until the final whistle. And also we have got there, let's go Tonga on top, says Alex Boy. I'm trying to watch it from Sydney, Australia. So your best bet would be NITV. That will be pretty much your best way of watching it. All you have to do is sign up for an account. You don't have to pay any money. It will be free to air for you to be able to watch. This kick from Malcia has once again hit the post. Second time in this game between the two kickers, but has gone over. So that will now make the score 12 points to Tonga and 19 for Fiji. Where can I watch this guy? Says Zach D'Angelo. Sky Sport in New Zealand or NITV anywhere else. And thanks for sharing, says T12. No worries at all. We are going to be doing the game between Samoa and Japan on the channel also. So be sure to check that out. It's kicked off long. Ravatamunda had a bit of a crack at it. And the Tongan player able to take it and is forced into touch. It was actually Ben Tamefuna out there who was able to clean up that one nicely. Now Sam Matavesi with the line-out throw for Fiji. Currently with a 7-point lead. We're already 21 minutes and a half through the first 40 minutes. And Tonga about to come back with a pick and drive. It's Fiji's weakness. And the Fijians scramble everywhere when they are attacked that way, says Yashua. Are you in Europe? And India loves you more, says Marley. And I was like, hey, keep the peace, says T12. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on between those two at the moment. As Tamefuna ex-Hurricanes? I believe so. Big Ben Tamefuna. I'm trying to think of who I've seen him playing for most recently. I believe he's actually been playing overseas. Now Sam Matavesi, another player who has been playing a majority of his rugby abroad. Nice pass from Lamani. Goes off to Tuisova. Does drop the ball, but it goes back with Frank Lamani. A lot of pressure on him from Tamapo. Now Ravatamunda has to swat the ball back to his number 15, Nwala, who looks to try and step Tamapo, who's been everywhere in the last kind of 2 or 3 phases, trying his best for his side to get the ball back in possession, but currently on the halfway line, Fiji have got the ball in hand. Wrestling down quite nicely. Lamani going to the right-hand side now. Short ball from Naya Falevu. Doesn't quite work out, but it bounces up now to Tuisova. Once again, has another carry. That is about his 5th of the match. That is a flat ball from Frank Lamani, I should say, to going back for the penalty advantage to the Fijians. It was via Fafita who ended up getting penalised. This is the real teams because it's a team going to the World Cup. TST12. And also we have got the RT gangs. CSBNKA. PNKA, I should say. Now 23 minutes in. It's flown by. Caleb Muntz now kicks it towards the touchline. Now sitting about 37 metres out from the line. The Fijian rolling maul has been relatively successful throughout this contest as well. They've been able to score the 2 tries from it. Same with Tonga, though. Both sides going for those rolling maul. Lebanon James, I said, what channel can we find this? NITV on SBS in Australia. Is your best bet. Or in New Zealand, if you're watching in New Zealand, it's channel number 50. Nice run from Ben Tamefuna. A couple extra post-contact meters made for him there. Is the ref out of puff yet? No, he's looking pretty fresh, Paul Williams, in this match. It would seem Malcia now puts the ball high. Waiting for this one to come down nicely, taken by Nwala. And now tries the chip and chase, but it's regathered by Tamapo. The attack and run now from Charles Piatel. First time we've seen that man carry for Tonga throughout this Pacific Nations Cup. And the penalty goes the way of Tonga again. Been a lot of penalties throughout the early stages of this contest, I do have to say, and both sides will want to work on that discipline. I did mention that discipline would be the key for whoever is victorious, giving away the less penalties. I believe it was Nawala who tried to go for the turnover. It ends up getting penalised, and Tonga will actually take on the 3 points here. By the looks of it, they are 42 metres out from the line. It's going to be a relatively tough kick on the angle. Malcia seems like he's up for the task. got Lima Sopawanga, of course, as another option in the future of the Pacific Nations Cup. Not for this game, though. They've gone with Malsia. No sign of Sopawanga off the bench points. CSP and KA. Looking for the 3. As long as he gets this one over, it will be strategic, getting within that 7 as well. And Charles Piatel earns more dollars than his teammates combined, says DK. So, in a way, it's so great to see him playing for Tonga. Because some players would go, I'm making enough money playing in the leagues overseas that I don't need to play for my nation. And a few players are looking more in that direction now. We're seeing that for the All Blacks. All the players going overseas who won't be eligible for the ABs. The fact that Piatel said, I want to play for my country, I want to do well at international level, I want to try and get far in a World Cup, very admirable from that man. But that kick is successful from Malsia. So he had a rough first kick, but from there has been looking a lot better. And now the score is 19 points to 15 in favour still of the Fijians, the home side. A very fast start to this contest, like I said. And I don't see it slowing down throughout the second 40 minutes either. Both of these sides will keep on going until they get past hours. There's no stream for this game anywhere, says Chris Smith. There are 2 options. You've got Sky Sports Select in New Zealand or anywhere else in the world. You've got NITV in Australia on SBS. So all you have to do is just sign up for an account and you'll be able to watch the game, no worries. That is now going to be kicked into touch. Or does it? No, just stays in the field of play. So Tonga now looking for the counter-attack. Wrestled down. Like that was almost a penalty advantage as well for Tonga. There's been quite a few of those throughout this fixture. Early on, I believe the penalty count is probably about 5 apiece, if not maybe a couple more. And also, here we go. Tonga is back. Let's go. This is the typical Pacific clash. And this is the type of game that everyone wanted to see at the start of the Pacific Nations Cup. They wanted to see a close game between these two sides to really help build not just momentum towards that World Cup, but build the hype for this competition. 4 fantastic sides in Fiji, Tonga, Samoa, and Japan. How can you enjoy the game? Says Chris Smith. And there, so yeah, it's on NITV. All you got to do is put in an email address and they'll let you watch the game for free. And come on, Fiji, says Fa'alua. Fijians, they did start this match extremely well, making the most of that yellow card that Tonga did end up with. Now the pace starting to become a little bit more labour for both of these teams. Listening to this oak is worse than anything, says Chris Smith. Well, I mean, I've given you options to be able to watch the game, but you're still here. So I guess, hope you're doing all right, even though it sounds like you're having a pretty bad day. Nice run forward. I'm loving it, Chris, because I am watching the game, because I used one of those examples I gave you. Now, Takalua going off to the left-hand side. Nicely taken. I just provided you a way to watch. Shake my head, says King of Kickout. Yeah, some people are just thick, unfortunately. And I think Chris falls into that category. Takalua now going off to Taumapo. Now, off to the right. Big run forward from this time. It will be Fisiahoy, but Tonga only sitting 15 metres out from the Fijian line. Big defence is annoying. It's going to be required at the stage. Big hits, says DK as well. Solomoni Kata a long way off his left wing. Now to the right-hand side. Now around the side again. They are willing to take on that little pick and go, although it hasn't worked that time as the Fijians do end up with the penalty. He was playing for the Chiefs, says Savito there. So that's for Ben Tamefuna, is it? Very dangerous scrummager, though. And we haven't had a scrum other than the one that was for the ball not going to 10 metres. That is the only scrum we have had, which means we have had very minimal knock-ons. And then when there has been a knock-on, the other team just runs the ball and it ends up with advantage over. Are we all Fijian cookies? Says Marley. And also we have got a little bit earlier on. A Fiji defence again, poor, needs work, especially the exit, set piece and tactical kicking, says DK. I guess that kind of thing will slowly, I'd like to think it would get better as the sides start to get more and more gelled. You know, they've got a few guys who haven't worked together in the past. Better defence, Fiji, good work, Lavani Bortia, says DK. Also, we have got, there you go, Fiji, says Chaos Sabres, with that ball's being kicked high from Charles Piatal. looking at chase the moon kick, trying to swat it back. No one gets a touch to it, and it looks like it's going to be back there now for Jita. Wainaniolo looking to run it out from his own 22, looking to the left-hand side. Thought about the offload. It was a very risky one to do. He still decided to go for it. Tonga just went for the risky offload, and they've given the ball straight back to the Fijians. Nice flick pass from the big man, Maya Navanua. But now the pass on the outside is open for Fiji. Toisova down the wing, wrestled down by Solomoni Kata. Those are two balls of muscle right there, going head-to-head big time. Lamani now going on the inside to Albert Tuisui. As Fiji look to once again try and get this one. Driving forward again. Callum Muntz with the low kicking behind, looking for the 50-22. It's slowly curling, but won't quite go into touch. Instead, will pull up 5 meters out from Tonga's line. Finianisi is back to cover and puts the ball into touch about 30 out from their own line. Head-to-head clash, 90-50. Not bad for both teams, says Treadstone. And go Fiji. And better defense, Fiji. Good work, Lavani Bortia, says DK. And the channel says Tori. It is NITV. In Australia or anywhere, actually, I believe it is actually working, which is fantastic to see. Stan Sports, if you've not shown this live, says Richie. Yeah, it's weird that Stan Sports haven't done it. And same with KO, because I assume that one of those two sides would end up picking it up. And I believe Stan Sport, the worst thing is, I believe I saw that they are showing Samoa versus Fiji next week, if I'm not wrong. So the fact that some places are showing the game next week, but not this game, seems very strange. Why are they all? Says Bonnie. The penalty now this time going to Fiji again. A little bit of breakdown issues for Tonga early on. And also we get there, lol, says Alessi. And also Akali Tahi on top and close or good physical contest forwards need to keep going, says DK. And I just have to mention the progression and the skill and just the way that Tonga have changed from last year is massive for them. Because the last year when this game took place, 36-0 in favour of Fiji. We've almost hit those 36 points, but they've been a lot more evenly split. Although Fiji now 10 metres out from the line, this is where they've been dangerous throughout this match. And now Sam Matavesi throwing the ball into the back. Nicely taken now. Big Albert Tuisui has the crack. He's the size of a lock. He's got the power of a weightlifter or anyone out there on the field, probably one of the strongest. Now Lamani looks to shift it to the right. Tuisova does knock that ball down. Tuisova, unfortunately, just dropping it. Goes into touch, but I believe it is now going to be available for Fiji. What side are you using? Says Fa'alua. For myself, I'm watching on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. They announced it extremely late that it was going to be available there, but for most other people, they are watching on NITV. All you have to do is put in your email to sign up. It's completely free, and you should be able to watch the game. I mean to say, why are the All Blacks not playing this weekend? They have got a bit of a rest with the hectic rugby championship schedule that they've got, but they're playing 2 games in a row next week and the week after, and we will be covering both of them on the channel as well. Nicely taken. Sam Matavesi now. Not quite getting that throw right. And guys, is there any channel that I can watch it on that has no link, says Kara? So I will put it in the chat. It's not a link, but it's just the website that you should go to be able to watch it. It is called the National Indigenous TV or something along those lines for Australia. But yeah, if you have an email address, which I assume you do because you've got YouTube, all you would need to do is put that in to sign up. It's completely free, and you'll be able to watch this game. So it's a good option. Playing well. A good power run, says DK. Now the ball going to be available at the back here for the flying Fijians. Looks like Sam Matavesi has got this one in hands. Oh, it's gone down there, and I don't think that ball's coming out. So now Tonga get themselves a scrum feed on their own 22 with only 6 minutes remaining. The last thing either of these sides want to do is concede just before the half time. Looks like Bentame Funa getting a bit of the grass out of the boots. It does seem like, even though it's dry underfoot, seems like the pitch is getting pretty roughed up anytime someone tries to step. We saw that with Tuisova earlier on. He pretty much was just taking divots out of the turf each time he tried to get the feet going. Now 6 minutes remaining, like I mentioned in this first half. Just enjoyed the great commentary, says Robert. And also, there you go, Tonga, says Whanonga. And yeah, hopefully I said that correctly. The benches could play a very crucial role in this match in Fiji, 27 degrees Celsius. So it is hot, it is humid, and both of these sides have put in 110% throughout the first 35 minutes. Now, Sunatane Takalua putting the ball in for the Tongans here. Oh, a little bit too much movement, says Paul Williams, so we will have a scrum reset. I mentioned how we've only had one scrum throughout this game, which I believe is why this 35 minutes has flown by so quickly. We've had hardly any stoppages. The most stopping that we've had is actually the penalties, which both sides have been trying to take relatively quickly. Keep the game rolling, try and wear out their opposition. It's also a good tester for the gas tank, heading towards France for the Rugby World Cup. Be up against some tough opposition for both of these teams. Now Takalua, once again, gets the opportunity to try and feed this ball in. At the one scrum reset of this one, and that is mainly due to the front rows, their feet just not really getting a grip on the turf. Now the ball is fed in. It's actually popped almost out the side. Fire Fafita manages to clean it up, looking to go to the short side, tackle well low by his opposite number, Albert Tuisui. And whereas the game being live streamed, it's not on Sky Sport New Zealand for me, says Rob Dan. Have you checked Sky Sport Select, Rob? Because that is where I am watching it, which will be channel 50 for us here in New Zealand. Well, they might have changed what one it is, but yeah, Sky Sports Select is where this game is being shown here in New Zealand. No excuses, weather is perfect for them. Pacific Island weather, hot, humid, and sunny. And yeah, man, force the power, says Alisi. Kick downfield from Malsia. Decent exit from Tonga from inside of their own 22. I'm trying to think of someone in this back line who we haven't really seen run for Tonga so far. I think Anisi's probably the biggest pick. And we just haven't really seen him get the opportunity. We've seen him do one kick from inside of the 22. And this is Paul Garrett's son, by the way. Big smiley face from Rosenun. Hopefully I said that correctly. Now it's going to be the knock on by Fiji, but they will go back for the initial penalty awarded by Paul Williams. I don't think we've had too many times that we've seen that there hasn't been a penalty advantage being played. Throughout this one, Fiji should let the ball flow because of the rainy weather. Same goes for Tonga. Just let the ball do the work, says Fredstone 98. And other Tongans love it there, says DK. Can you say Alisi? Says Alisi. And now Caleb Muntz looking to kick this one for the corner again. Fiji could have considered going for the 3 points, but they decided against it. They want to be aggressive near the end of this first half, try and get themselves that little bit more of a lead going into the changing sheds at the end of 40 minutes. What's the website to watch the game? Sky Sport in New Zealand or NITV in Australia. Now the brother heavyweight contest here. And Tonga has improved very well, but good old flying Fijians should have this, says Poldra. They came in as favourites, the Fijians, but Tonga, after being 19-0 down, certainly have been able to fire back quite nicely to make the score 19 points to 15, although now Fiji looking to get that rolling ball going again for the third time in this fixture, already been able to score themselves 2 tries off it. One was a penalty try, and the other for Sam Matavisi. Lamani looks to shift it to the right where Lavani Botia was waiting for that ball. Now is Soana Sila tackled by Fini Anisi, the man who I mentioned we haven't really seen too much of on attack. Tonga win the penalty, though, for not releasing in the breakdown. And that is the perfect time to get that turnover due to only being a few meters out from their line. Tame Funa stayed down. That man is exhausted at the moment after the first half that we've had. He might also have a little bit of an injury. I know that he did have a slight bit of pain earlier on in the contest. Now it looks like Malsia will be kicking this one for the touchline. Right, we see Tame Funa there. He was over the ball. Someone tried to clean him out. I think he just fell awkwardly. Tame Funa, one of the legs, just was a little bit too stuck underneath. I'm about to pay this commentator. If you can just say that Fiji won, says Rosenun. I mean, they've got a decent chance, although the tricky thing is Tonga are not out of this contest yet. The Fijians, I would like to think due to Super Rugby Pacific later on in the game, will be able to dig into that deeper water. But I wouldn't be surprised if Tonga can keep this close for a long period of time. Great job, my guy. Keep up the good work, says Chuck T. Thank you very much. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated. You will be in here for this stream. We have got Samoa versus Japan just a little bit later on. That is a mistake from the Tongans, which now means that Fiji have got the opportunity to kick it in behind. Malsia looks for the touchline. Has been able to hook it right back around, but nicely taken by Nawala. And now it's a dangerous period of the game. 5 seconds remaining till the halftime whistle. The halftime siren. Alamani looks to shift it off to the left. Where's got Nasila Sela. Wait, and big shot coming in there. The rush defense of via Fafita. 22 meters out. Lamani goes off to Moana Vanua. Tackled well by his opposite number, Sam Lausi. Now Lamani gets it off to Albert Tuisui. Great pickup from the captain, Noia Thalevu. Spends quite a bit of his time playing in the top 14. He's found quite a bit of success along the way. Muntz passes on the outside to Ravatamunda, who has still got 3 men on his outside. Lavani Botia being one. Tuisova another, and he will go through. Joshua Tuisova does score the last try of the half for Fiji. Also, we have got their Tonga as the best team, says Nonga. And also we have got Go Tonga, says Sam. And also Tosa Viti Toso, says DK. Good contest, it certainly is. And that will be the last minute try of the half for the Fijians. They will now go into the halftime break with at least an 8-point lead. He was looking to give that try to a teammate. He actually, he was looking if there was a pass available to be able to give it off to someone else, but he have made the big gap by running it straight. The numbers on the outside there were the beneficial side of things for Fiji. Had about a 3-on-2, and then Lavani Botia with the quick hands, and the fact that that man has the dynamic passing game as well to be able to find Tuisova on his outside rather than trying to run it. A lot of forwards would consider going for it. Bro, why you not put on Twitch? Says Terry, because it is illegal. Is the best way of putting it, unfortunately. But the game is available on NITV. And also we have got the, or unless you're just talking about doing the commentary on Twitch without the game as well. Rara Mata, second half, says Joe. Yeah, there's some good, powerful players coming off the bench for both of these teams. We will be looking through at that at halftime, looking at who the keys will be in the near future. I'm cheering for all the Tongan ladies, cheering for their team, says Rose Nunn. Now, Caleb Muntz taking this kick. And it looks like he has got it over once again. So that will now make the score at halftime 26 points to 15 in favour of Fiji. I see that the scoreboard at the game, they have actually given Tonga that try. Unfortunately, they were the team that did end up conceding it. And Tuisova, I mean, it's extremely hard to stop him from anywhere on the field, let alone when he's 5 or 10 metres out and you don't have the cover defenders to be able to stop him. Now halftime in this fixture of the Pacific Nations Cup, ladies and gentlemen, 26 points to 15. And also we have there, put this on Twitch, my bro, says Terry. We don't actually have a Twitch account, unfortunately, for ourselves. And the tank, power, pace, and elusive, says DK. And please sub all the starters now, please, Fiji. We don't need any injuries, says Skills. And with such talented players in their starting lineup and off the bench, I feel like there are plenty of options for these two sides in terms of when they release the guys off the bench. Sam Matavesi, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to give Tavita Ikanaveri about half of the game just to see what he can do before their fixture next week up against the Samoans. Looking through, you've got Tia Huaru Tharikadavita, who's looking to make his debut for the Fijians in this game. He could go on for either Maya Navanua or Nasela Sela. In fact, he could go on for one of the loose forward trio as well, although Viliami Mata, I believe, will be the man who does that. They've got Ben Vulavula and they've got Semi Radradra. So the big thing with this back line is you've got so many talented players in the starting lineup, but if you're trying to avoid injury, you are putting a superstar in Semi Radradra out there on the field who then has the risk of getting injured as well. So it is a tricky time for Fiji in terms of managing this game, who they want out there on the field throughout the later stages. For Tonga, I think that's Ulamali. He's done all right in this game. Hasn't really had too many line-out opportunities. Sam Molly might be just around the corner. Pellegrini, another player who will get his chance to make his debut. And this fixture, this game is still close. If all that can happen in the first half, imagine the second. Says Yeshua, exactly right. And the fact that last time these two sides played, it was 36-0 in favour of Fiji. The fact that we've had more than 36 points, 41 scored throughout this first half, and we still have 40 minutes to go, it's going to be an entertaining one. That is for sure. Watch Fiji pump Tonga in the second half, says Daddy Bear. I think out of these two sides, they have got the better chance of running away with this game, mainly because they have been playing Super Rugby Pacific, the Fijian draw. They're used to playing at the high tempo. They're used to playing at home as well. So, yeah, if either side were going to run away with it, I can see it being Fiji. But I also see this first 10 or 20-minute patch of the second half. If Tonga can get themselves a couple penalties in their favour, really put the pressure on Fiji. We've already seen that Fiji, when it comes to that rolling maul defence, haven't been able to stop the Tongans as of yet. So if that is the case again, perhaps Fiji end up with a man in the bin, and it could be relatively even overall. I'm cheering for Fiji, says Marley. And also we have got in there as well, good game to Fiji, says Blues, and also a good game to Tonga compared with last year's result. The fact that they were able to get themselves the victory last week up against Australia A gave them confidence. Charles Piatel, a player who we haven't really seen a huge amount of in this one, unfortunately. And I won't let me watch out here in the USA. Do you have any other website suggestions? Did you try NITV, Sione? Was that the one that wouldn't let you watch? Or was it Flow Sports? Because I know that Flow Sports have Samoa versus Japan, but they don't have this game for some reason, which seems really weird to cover some of a competition, but not all of it. I knew the Tongans would fight back this time, unlike last year, says Sammy Souza. No worry, fam. My dad, Tukai Kifu, got this handled, says Rome. Yeah, the second half. I'm sure this break won't be too long. They'll have some quick water and then get themselves back out on the field, ready to go for another exciting half of rugby and move, says Robert. And also Alessi, says Osifu in there. And Tuisova says Teddy. He was very good in the first half. The fact that within about 2 minutes of this game starting, he had already run over the top of Malakai Fekitoa, definitely giving himself that momentum shift out of those two inside centres. Yeah, it's certainly going to be entertaining. See how it ends up going in the second half and whether or not Tuisova does keep playing number 12, because I feel like they've found a very decent option. What the website to watch for free? It is NITV. I will put it in the chat just so that everyone knows the right letters in the right order. But I believe it comes up as I think it comes up as SBS, and it is the National Indigenous TV channel, I believe, of Australia, and they are showing that game on there. Tuisova is trash. I'll have him. That is something I haven't heard too many defenders say against Tuisova. I assume that you got a good low tackling game, because if you try and tackle him too high, he just bumps off everyone. We've seen that in this first half. It's still anyone's game, says Rose Nunn. I think so. I think if Tonga can score early in the second half, they will be they'll be right back into this game. But if Fiji score first, I'd say that it will only get worse for Tonga from there, mainly because of that extra bit of stamina that I believe Fiji will have due to playing so often in Super Rugby Pacific. A few of the Tongan players have been playing in Super Rugby Pacific as well, but I think that the Fijians always play at that little bit of a higher tempo in that competition. And Fiji has played home against Tonga for the last 5 outings. Why is that? Why can't they play in Tonga? Says Doco. That's a good question. Are there any home games for Tonga throughout this Pacific Nations Cup? I know that next week they are going to be playing up against Japan, which I believe is actually a Japanese home game as well. So it's whether or not they're playing up against Samoa and Tonga, whether Samoa have that home game. Tonga has strong players. They have Israel Folau. They do, although he's not playing in this game. They did decide to rest him. They also haven't been playing Lima Sopawanga in this contest. But Suamale, the man, was able to score the first try, go Tonga, says Jawavi. And also we have got there, too bad he isn't playing today, says King of Cacao. But yeah, anytime he is on that side, it certainly has an impact. We saw that in the World 15 versus Barbarians game that took place. And Samoa versus Japan, I don't know. I feel like Japan would win this. As well, says Rome. It's going to be a good game of rugby. It's being played in Japan, so that will be the advantage in favour of the Japanese. They've had a couple tough outings up against the New Zealand 15, whether that is Japan or the Japan XV. So Could be a good game. I think the physicality that Samoa are going to bring to that contest will be something that is a little bit more challenging for Japan, just because of some of those big solid boys. I mean, we're going to see Charlie Faumuina get a chance for the Samoans. Fiji need Jason Ryan to learn how to stop the rolling maul, says Sam. And yeah, it could be something that does hurt them a little bit heading into the future. And also, we have got there, how's the match viewers? Says Pamela. And there looks like they've got quite a few people in attendance, which is fantastic to see. Bro, there's nothing on NITV. Says Alisi, whereabouts are you trying to watch from, though, Alisi? Because I know that for myself being in New Zealand, when I went on there, it did end up saying that I wasn't in the right region. So I'm not too sure what regions they cover. But yeah, it could be a geographical issue in that case. Now you're watching, says Andrew. I'm watching on Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand. Won't let me stream out here in the USA for NITV. Any other suggestions? The only other real option is if you've got a VPN, because then you'll be able to set yourself to Australia and it should work no problem. Tongans need to amp up their pace in the second half. And here's the link, gents. I got it sorted. You need a VPN if you're outside of Australia, says Chris Smith. Sign up. So pretty much what Chris has done is he's taken the advice we gave him, even though he was angry earlier on about the advice we were giving him, and now he has been able to work it out. But yeah, he's given you a link to NITV, but I don't know if the link has come through in the end. And oh my gosh, there's no live to see the match, says Pamela. Not for this one, unfortunately, due to restrictions. If we were to show any match footage or audio, YouTube elbow us in the face, which isn't what we want. You know, mainly because unlike these Tongan and Fijian boys, I'm not too tough. So, you know, an elbow to the face would hurt quite badly. I'll be thinking. Second half, just around the corner. Yeah, dude. There's Alisi in there. Now, second 40 is going to be intriguing because these two sides, I assume, with a little bit of a break that they've got now, they will look to be a lot more aggressive for the early stages of the half. Definitely Fiji, they want to put Tonga into deep water. But I don't know whether or not the momentum of this game has gone at all the way that a lot of people anticipated. We saw 19-0 for Fiji at the start of this contest. And then, you know, it's the case of Tonga managing to find themselves quite a nice comeback. And what channel is the game on? Can't find it. Depending on whereabouts you are in the world will depend on availability. But NITV, if you are in Australia or in some other countries, they do allow you to watch on NITV. For New Zealand, on Sky Sports Select for us here in New Zealand. Can we not watch NITV if we live in New Zealand? Not without a VPN. But if you do have Sky Sport in New Zealand, you might be able to get yourself a Sky Sport free trial. Might be a good option. I personally appreciate your broadcast, brother. These speakers can't be choosers. I'm grateful. Says Rosie Nunn. And we are going to be covering a majority of the Pacific Nations Cup on the channel. We cover a lot of rugby around the world as well, covering every game of the Rugby World Cup involving these two sides, as well as every other game. We are doing every one on the channel. So, yeah, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are new. I also enjoy these live streams mainly because we just get everyone's opinions on how they feel the game is going, and everything along those lines. And I feel like it's an awesome community we've been able to build on the channel. I'm trying to watch from the Netherlands. No chance. I guess I just listened to the live commentary here. Thanks, mate. Says Tian. Yeah, I wish there was a way of being able to show it. But yeah, as soon as we show any match footage, we've actually had 4 copyright strikes on this channel without showing footage. So that tells you how strict that they are. That even with no footage being shown, my face has been copyrighted before. And bro, just give us update, eh? Says Pamela. Will do, although it is currently halftime. So the only update I can give you is there are a few players probably using the urinals, unleashing the bladder, so that they can unleash the power in the second half without needing a wee-wee. We have got Bulla from Semi. Welcome in. And also update. Says Rome. Still halftime. So, yep. Different player probably in the urinals now. And the team chats. We have also got ads for Dungeons and Dragons here in New Zealand, so I don't actually know what's completely happening. Draining Lizard confirms, says greet the sacred cow, maybe. Thanks for all your coverage, bro. Says D12. And the insight unreal. Imagine that would be rough. I know that my mum, she watches something called Love Island, and on that they have like cameras everywhere. So I'm glad to see that in rugby they do not put the camera in that part of the changing sheds. because I don't know why they would need that footage. Updates. Sure, how do I get in contact? Says Rome. Link, he's trying to set himself on a date with Pamela. That seems to be the case there. He's like matchmaking is taking place. Facebook digits, I don't know, you choose. Says Rome. And also, okay, then well, I'm running out of data. I'm going to die ugly over here, says Pamela. Now, well, we will be here at the end of the live stream. So if you do need to turn your data off for the next, let's say, 38 minutes, and then you come back for the last 2 minutes, we will give you an update of what happened throughout the half. My face is copyrighted. Sounds like a cool flex. No, it got copyrighted. Like somehow, that's the thing. YouTube, it can be weird. I have had a copyright claim before on a cricket live stream, and they copyright claimed my voice. They said that they owned my voice. It was someone in the USA, like a big broadcasting agency, and they were like, "We own this guy's voice, so we get all the revenue from his channel," which didn't work too well for them, but as it shouldn't, because I mean, the only one who can change my voice, I guess, is me, or have my voice is me. I'm watching from Australia, hoping for Fiji to win. Go Fiji, thanks very much, says Simi. And also, no fixing the commentator, says Rose Nunn. And then years ago, I remember Tonga being pretty competitive with Fiji and Samoa. Looks like the latter rugby programs paid dividends, says Greg the Sacred Cow. And it's great to see that it's going to be a lot closer this year in the Pacific Nations Cup. And also alongside that, the fact that, they're going into this World Cup not looking too bad. And at least we can go in peace, not in pieces. Come on, Fiji, please be nice to me over here, says Pamela. Yeah, hopefully the second half, Fiji will go well for you. But yeah, we'll let you know how it's going later on if you do end up cutting out of data. But I do recommend saving a little bit of data so you know the result of this matchup. And at the very end, we will be back for Samoa versus Fiji. Sorry, Samoa versus Japan as well. I forgot who was the fourth team in the competition. I was still remembering Australia A being in there. But yeah, be sure to stick around for anyone who is enjoying the content. We have got plenty more commentary coming in the near future. Second half just about underway. Final 40 minutes in this one. And what Wakanda going on here? Says Mali. Oh, have they made a change? No. It looks like both sides relatively similar to what we saw in the first half, although I wouldn't be surprised if we only get about 10 minutes or so. And bro, please send me some credits if you have Dingy in your or on your phone. Unfortunately, I do not. Sadly, I don't actually have data, but that's mainly because I don't really leave the house that much. So I always just have. Luckily, I have Wi-Fi plugged into the PC, although that still cuts out quite a bit. An A, says Romy. Now it's going to be kicked off from Franklin Marnie. The penalty goes the way of Fiji early on in the second half. Only took 24 seconds in there. Does anyone have some dingy on their phone? And I can, hey, commentator sir, this is a beautiful lady here that wants to know your name. Thank you. Well, there is a beautiful lady here that wants to know your name. It is Hamish, which isn't very common. I almost probably have to spell it, but yeah, Hamish is my name. Is that yourself, a Rose Nunn, or are you talking about someone else in the chat? Have you got a group with you? I always find it awesome when people are watching the group or like having a group that are watching me. It feels kind of cool because it's like I'm watching it with you. That's going to be slapped back onto the side of Tonga now. Now Takalua trying to step around. And let's go, baby. There's Alisi. On side of the 22. Tonga looking to use it off to the side. Picked him behind. And also D right here, boost, says Rome. And there you go, Alisi. And there as well. Now 40 meters out from the line. Don't ask for bro name. Already taken, says Pamela. How is Tonga losing? I mean, they're pretty close in this contest, though, compared with the fact that they were 19-0 down at the start of the game, or within the first 13 minutes, and they already had a yellow card at that point. They're not doing too badly at this point to be only the 11 points down. But Lomani goes off to Albert Tui, looking to use it quickly. Mwala goes on the outside, nicely thrown to Maya Navanua, cuts on the inside, finds it, a miraculous offload off to Naya Thalevu, who somehow keeps himself in the field of play. Now Tui Sui Charges forward. Lamani. Penalty goes the way of Tonga, though. Couldn't get that ball out of the breakdown. And did Fiji make any changes or the same squad? At the moment, they have still got the same 15 out there on the field by the looks of them. Thank you, Hamish. And nice to meet you. Says a Rose Nun 13 in there as well. And come on, go live. Don't be scared. Says Marley. Anytime that we have thought about it in the past, we straight away realize that YouTube would take us down instantly. So it's a bit rough in that regard. And also Walter Fafita would have been the next best or the next beast. And also Samoa have Alexander Tuilangi and Tonga have Walter Fafita, the Tongan tank, says Def. Nice work in the breakdown there from, I believe it was actually Solomoni Funaki. He did that a few times throughout Super Rugby Pacific, being able to get those quick turnovers. Go Fiji, go, says Jabis. And Botswana is behind the flying Fijians, says Sean Lee's there as well. And how are you watching the game? I am watching it on Sky Sports Select. And go Tonga, don't worry, Fiji. He's your little brother, says Pamela. Akali Tahi should have a chant. Now, Malsia puts the ball into touch again. About 32 metres out from their own line here. And for Tonga, this period of the game is all about possession and minimizing, that's the word, minimizing errors. And discipline needs to be on point for them here as well. There's a lot that they actually have to do here to stay in the contest, but nice attack and run here from, I believe it was Malakai Fekitoa, one of his first runs that we've actually seen him have throughout this contest. I believe it maybe was a second. That ball's gone high. No one wanted it. And now Ravatamunda tries to slap it back. It's available though for Tonga. Player running backwards for a start. It was the big man, Leva Fafiti. He has actually managed to score himself a try. And Salisi Piatau is playing. Says it was who you were. He is. And he has been quiet throughout this game, I have to say. So hopefully we see a little bit more of him. And also we have got there Hamish, is David Havili, Joe Moody, Ethan Blackadder, or Quintapire, all back from injuries. Will they be considered for the Rugby World Cup? I think of those options, Havili and Blackadder, I think are the two that could be there. I'm not sure about Moody's extent of how far off his injury being recovered he is. Yeah, Quintapire, I think with the lack of rugby he has played before the World Cup, they wouldn't risk having him in, although they do kind of need those 12s overall. And stop swearing. We have much fun at this live, similar. And who has better food, Tonga or Fiji? This is very important, says Greg. Well, I probably haven't had any especially Fijian or especially Tongan food. My mum and dad, they actually went to Fiji a little while ago because my dad was playing in a golf tournament and they drank a lot of Fiji Gold, like a lot of it. They were loving it. They were drinking it like it was water and they said it wasn't too bad of a drop. So in their opinion, they'd probably go with Fiji because of the beer, but I don't know what Tonga's beer is like, so it's hard to say. Also, Malik, sir, if you could please be so kind and stop the swearing. My boo Pamela doesn't like, says Rome. Is there like some romance happening in the chat here? We've actually, to be fair, people have said that we could be a matchmaker in the past with the chat. Although the only match that doesn't end up getting made is myself in that scenario. Now, turnover, or in fact, a penalty goes the way of Tonga, and Israel Folau would have played. And also, we have got there Fiji Bati, says T Gang and Moo Moo Moo. I love, or how much I love you, says Nate. Is that the pickup line that you go to, Nate? Nicely taken, though, by Mulseer, and it was a great low tackle made in the end by, I believe it was Lekima Tangi Valu, I think. We ended up with it. Penalty now going in favour of Tonga. Do they kick this one for touch again? Although it looks like Mulseer might have a little bit of an injury. That is the last thing Tonga want. They don't want too many halfback and fly half injuries heading into this World Cup. And they don't fight, says Huiua. And that's the thing. It's actually really cool to watch Pacific Island rugby because a majority of the time, even though both of these sides play such physical, hard-hitting rugby, there's no ego there. They don't end up fighting every single play when someone puts in a big hit, unlike some teams that we've seen around the world. Like some teams, they're just obsessed with trying to start a fight while they're out there on the field. And I don't know whether it's to try and fire them up or try and make the opposition get carded, but both of these sides, they play every game of rugby off respect and the fact that they know that both sides, there's going to be big hits. Because if they did end up starting a fight every time there was a big hit, this would become a boxing match because there are a lot of big shots that end up going in. Now nicely thrown to the front there from Mali, and now bumping off the tackle attempt of Jita Wainanyolo. A Tonga now 15 metres out from the line. Wrestled down nicely. Fiji trying to get out of that breakdown to not end up giving away the penalty. Pakalua looks off to his right. It's actually the man who did get the penalty earlier on against them in the yellow card, Hale Whanua. Now, it's going to be a nice short ball. Charles Piatal ball on the outside. Tonga score, and it's the youngster. It's going to be Tama Falau. He has only been on the field for a very brief amount of time there. And I believe that was for Fini Anisi. Anisi will be sitting on the sideline going, they don't pass to my wing once when I was on the field. And now that they've switched, they've got the youngster Tama Falau, who gets himself the try. He's decent in sevens. He's showing he's decent in union as well, I should say. Tonga now back in the contest, ladies and gentlemen. Nice try, Tonga, says Bullabro. But it was Charles Piatal, the pass on the outside. Tama Falau had the chance of just running that one in. Tonga gets bumped off, says T-Gang. Nice try. Right in the corner. Sensational finish. Great backline movement and great hands. And okay, guys, I'm going to sleep for church. Says Marley. So we will see you later on. We will be back next week with some more of the Pacific Nations Cup. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. What's the point, says Huiua. At the moment, it is sitting 26 points to 20 in favour of Fiji. The scoreboard normally waits until the conversion to update. And Piatal way too solid. Yeah, I mentioned at halftime, we've hardly seen him run the ball. But in this one, when he does run the ball, he is extremely dangerous. And he's proven that once again. Good try, Tonga. Nice contest. Great game for the Pacific Cup. Exactly right. Anyone who enjoys a close game will be loving this contest. And at the start of the game, when it was 19-0, it seemed like that might not have been the case. Now, Mosia just drifting that one away to the left once again, similar to what he did with his first kick of the day. Can England win the fourth test by an innings? It's going to be tricky, definitely with the rain around, but maybe we'll have to wait and see. We are covering a little bit of the Ashes later on tonight, though, alongside Japan versus Samoa, which is the next game on the channel we are covering. That is going to be starting at 5:35 p.m. New Zealand time. It's kicked off short. Nicely taken there by Tonga, just outside of their 22 and 26 to 20, says TK. And there as well. Yep. Scoreboard's been a little bit slow updating throughout today, but it is nice to see it's got the clock right, at least. And a loser what? Are we still die for Tonga? Says Alisi, but that's going to be nicely run up by Fiji with Albert Tuisui. The ball bounces free. Takalua kicks it forward. Now it's going to be the foot race. Now slapped back by Ravatamanda. 5 metres out from the line here, the flying Fijians, and they have only just been able to retain that ball in the breakdown. And second half, I should throw in the subs so they don't get injured for the World Cup. The penalty goes the way of Fiji, though. Right on their own try line. Clearly offside is the call for the referee. And please change the points because we confused, please, says Pamela. It should hopefully do it itself. It's an automatic scoreboard, so I don't actually get any, I guess, way of switching it. I'll try clicking my fingers, see if that works. Both hands are here, so you can see that I'm not changing anything on the scoreboard. Is this going to do it? No, it doesn't. I should have known that wasn't going to work. But yeah, hopefully it does update very soon. But yeah, currently 26 points to 20 in favour of Fiji. And 25-24, says Elise. And how many games has Tonga won? They won their game last week up against Australia A, which was a massive achievement for them. But now they're looking to come into this Pacific Nations Cup with some momentum, trying to get themselves back into the contest. It's overthrown there from Sam Matavesi, which means Tonga now end up with the ball until that knock on. And now it's going to be the scrum feed for Fiji again. Time for semi-trailer Radradra, says DK. And yeah, once he makes his way out onto the field, everyone will certainly know about it. He's a tank in the midfield. And also just has a brilliant amount of ability to be able to just create opportunity for the back line. Can you change the points? I have no ability in the points department. It is updating still with the time. It just hasn't given Tonga the try, unfortunately. That still didn't do it. Doesn't like me, the scoreboard, unfortunately. I'm hoping within the next 30 seconds it does it. That's the hope anyway. Fingers crossed. And this one much better than live on Facebook, says Pamela. Thank you very much. We can't change it now. Yeah, I have no ability. Still no. Send us the link, Pam, please, says Rome. Or Rome, it might be. It's just the wrong timing. Unfortunately, it's gone up to 20. But now Tonga trying to score again. Takalua kicks it in behind, looking toward the touchline. Knock on from Fiji and the leg. Did he just get there? Yes, he did, I believe. Ravatamanda. And also, bro, you better change the point, though. It's done it now. It was nothing I did. I have both my hands here. I think Fiji and Japan should be in the Rugby Championships, is who am I? And in the future, it does seem like it could be an option for them to be able to use. But the pressure was on Fiji here. It was actually at the back with Mwala who was covering it. Then it was kicked forward from Tamafalau, but just getting his hand to it first, Ravatamanda. Now it will be the goal line dropout. Or is it? Yeah, I think it's going to be a goal line dropout. Sorry, I may, or the Facebook or live on Facebook is not good, eh? But I don't know. Well, I don't know. Have NITV though, says Pamela. Oh, they've said it's been taken back by Fiji, and even though it's hit Tonga, it still is going to be a 5-meter scrum in favour of the Tongans here. So that is a good chance for them, only being a few meters out from the line, to now really start to drive forward. And live on Facebook is lagging so much. Anyone have better links? Says Zach. I keep on almost calling you Dak, don't I? I do apologise for that. But I would say hopefully someone puts a full match replay on YouTube straight after the game. That's my hope anyway. It might get taken down, but hopefully it does happen. That's gone down in the front rows for the two forward packs. I do see that Tonga have made a few more changes. They've actually got an all-new front row on the field. So that is Kalimatangi. Also alongside him, they have got Sam Molly out there on the field. And the Lucia Prop replacement also making his way out there, which is Fiao Furuaka. I hope so. I hope you guys win, Tonga. Says who you are. I love Pacific Nations rugby coming from South Africa. It's going to be a good game against the Tongans. And yeah, physical game as well, which is absolutely awesome that we're going to get to see take place. And we still have hope on the Kalitahi team. Sorry, Fiji, says Pamela. And also we have got there, we're on NITV. Can I find the stream? I can't find it anywhere. It depends on where you are in the world. If you're in Australia, it should just be there once you sign up with your email address. But if it's not there, I assume it might be geographically not available. Whereabouts you are, flat run from Malakai Fekitoa, only 5 meters out now from the line again. Tonga looking to get themselves over the try line. But yet again, another time in this half. Penalty advantage in favour of them. Solomoni Funaki only 1 meter out from the line. Now around the side, it looks like it's Sam Lausi who just gets held up. And it is another penalty advantage. Fiji have to be very careful with this discipline or else they could find themselves going to the bin. You got two advantages, both within 5 meters of the line. And cheers from here, American Samoa, though. Says Alicia, and damn, it ain't working. So here I am on YouTube watching the bros commentary. Says Rome. And it is hugely appreciated, you guys being here. It is a shame that there aren't more places that are actually showing this game. And hopefully they change that for the rest of the Pacific Nations Cup, which I believe is the case. Even the next game between Samoa and Japan, it's going to be shown on Flow Sports. I think it's going to be shown on Stan Sports as well, and then also Sky. So there's a few other options available in that regard. There's no other live. Says Huyua. Also, Tonga is doing better than expected, mate. They're doing very well in this game, and it's great to see because, towards the Rugby World Cup, they start doing it extremely well. There could be an upset in that group, is all I'm going to say. They're in a group with Ireland, Scotland, and South Africa. Those are the three main sides. But if Tonga can get themselves an upset up against any of those teams, it could actually be the difference between one of those teams making it to the next stage or missing out. It's going to be the turnover at scrum time, the mistake, and Lamani able to get the ball back for the Fijian drawer, and a big boot downfield from Tuisova. A lot of pressure on Takalua. They have to retreat. Low tackle made on him, only 2 meters out now from the Tongan line. In fact, it's Solomoni Kata who got back to cover, but that is immense pressure. It's bounced out the side, and Charles Piato able to clean it up. Takalua might have knocked it on, did he? No, Fiji knocked it on first. And that will now be, in fact, a penalty going the way of Tonga. Guys, come and watch this live because there's no lives. There's Pamela there. And need to pay for Sky and stop asking for free lives before you get just the Kiwi one. Although the thing is, I feel like the request of being able to watch a game of rugby for free shouldn't have to be a request, because rugby, I believe, should be free to air. Yes, there'll be some competitions or some broadcasters that you will have to pay to be able to watch, but I believe they should have some form of free content for these rugby matches, because it just helps promote the game even more. We saw that last week on Oceania Rugby's YouTube channel. They did that Tonga versus Australia A game. They got 105,000 views on that stream. So I feel like it should just be more of free-to-air rugby. And here, Pam, the next 40 minutes so, if you need anything, anything, I'm right here, says Rome. Nice. Such a messy second half, says Daddy Bear. There have been a few more mistakes coming here, and I believe that is because of fatigue. We'll be starting to set in, but Tonga, they have certainly looked the better of the second half throughout the first 17, and even the pirated sites have this game on RIP. But it does have Samoa versus Japan. Here's Dwayne. Yeah, it seems like it's a lot more easily accessible. That looks like an injury for Via Fafiti. It might be a shoulder. The way he was holding it was kind of hanging down. Alamani gets it off. But it's going to be, I believe, was that Viliami Mata? They may have actually made a change here, Fiji. Caleb Muntz goes across now. First receiver was Nwala. Semi Radradra passes on his outside to Lavani Bortia. Does take it up. How many minutes left? Still another 25 or 23 minutes remaining, in fact. And is it going to be playing? He is. He's going to be coming off the bench for Fiji, but I don't believe they've made that change just yet. Going to be another penalty this time for Fiji. One of the first ones that we have seen in the second half going in their favour. Come on, Viti, time to use the bench. But yeah, this does not look good for Via Fafita. Unfortunately, some sort of injury to that shoulder is on the left-hand side. In fact, he kind of held the peak as well there. So you got a lot of things that can go wrong across here. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for Via Fafita. He is certainly a player I want to see taking part in the World Cup. But it was the tackle attempt on Semi Radradra. Unfortunately, just turned into it. And I think he ended up maybe just separating that shoulder or getting a stinger right on the end of it. The easy way, Rame, afterlife can reunite us. Semi on the field, he certainly is. Semi Radradra got about 25 minutes to be able to work here for the Fijians, try and extend their lead, because currently it's 6-6, and I don't feel that that is enough up against this Tongan side with the fire that seems to be lit underneath them at the moment. They are looking to go far in the Pacific Nations Cup. They're going to have to try and get themselves another try very soon. Thanks for the live commentary, Seth. Thank you very much, mate, for being here. It's hugely appreciated. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are covering the next game on the channel, which is going to be kicking off in about an hour and 25 minutes time. I do see, so in an hour and 10 minutes is actually when we are going to be starting that live stream. It doesn't look too flash for Via Fafita there. That's been an interesting night on the Kiwi Lads channel. There's Robert. Yeah, we've got plenty more coming later on. We've got Samoa versus Japan. Like I mentioned, we've also got the matches taking place between England and Australia for the Ashes. We'll be covering a bit of the cricket later on tonight as well. And good Island game via Fafita. I hope he's okay. Says Tonga Island. Looks like Sam Matavesi now going to have the line out throw. Okay, I will subscribe you for more info, bro. Says Pamela. Raja just came in, good impact. Yep, already he's touched the ball maybe twice. Made meters with both of those carries. Now the rolling maul of Fiji, the same rolling maul that ended up with Tangi Noa Halafanua going to the bin in the first half. In fact, that was in the first 5 minutes of the game. But now off to the right. Ravatamanda plays first receiver, Semi Radradra. Great cutout pass, but it's put down by Tuisova. And that was an opportunity for Fiji to extend their lead. It did not quite pay off. Maybe, if anything, you could be critical and say the pass was a little bit low. But Tuisova would have liked to claim that 9 times out of 10. And he would have been very hard to stop if he had been able to hang on to the ball. And they are on the 22-metre line, says Terry. They are indeed Fiji. After that penalty on the halfway line, kicking it downfield. Are you one of the good CNN for the future, eh? I'm one of your biggest fans here from Valval or Vaval, Tonga. Hopefully I've said that correctly. But thank you very much, Pamela. Hugely appreciate it. Akinaveri on, says Mr. Billy. I believe for now they've still got Matavesi. Although now they've just said that they are going to replace him. So, yeah, Tavita Akinaveri makes his way onto the field. Masaki Donge, another change that they did decide to make here for the Flying Fijians. And there should be a new player for Kalitahi. And, yeah, that would be, I believe, Pellegrini coming off the bench. And Akinaveri should come on, and he just has. And Radra versus Piatel. Pretty decent battle. That is real. Get him, Pamela. Tackle the commentator. Says a Rose Nunn. At this stage, I can safely say I have not been tackled by a viewer. Actually, no, that's a lie, because one of the other Kiwi lads, George, he has watched us, and he has tackled me before. Quite a few times. That will be the penalty now for Tonga. On the far side for the Fijian scrum, just wheeling a little bit. Look, Tangi. Just making the mistake. Crowd are almost silent at the moment at the game. I don't think anyone expected this one to be as close as it is. That kick has not found touch from Tonga, though, so that is a big mistake. And now the Fijians looking to counter. Bit of a rough pass there from Nwala. But up high, waiting for this one to come down. Out on the full. Brilliantly watched by Charles Piatel. They're saying, oh, no, it wasn't out on the full. They're saying it bounced on the line. Where did Alessi go? Here's 2 comments above you. Huiha. And draw Captain Ikanaveri in now. So I guess maybe they'll look at co-captaincy with him and Nyatha Levu, although I think Nyatha Levu may have actually gone off the field at this stage. Although maybe not, because we are seeing Tuisova actually take more of a right wing position in this game. So perhaps they took off Gita Wine and Yolo. They're still in the line out from the Fijians, and now they are back into the attacking position on the field. 20 meters out. Here comes the big man at number 6, Tangi Walu. Lamani goes off to Muntz. Now Semi Radradra, the cutout pass. Tuisova, he's taken it this time, but he's bumped out, and he has knocked the ball on in the process as well. Big shot coming on Joshua Tuisova. If you live in Australia, the game's on Foxtel, NITV. Says Joey. And yeah, it's been certainly an entertaining game. 46 points between these two sides. We had 41 at the start of the half, though, so it has become a little bit more methodical build, a lot more even in the second half between the two sides. Fiji fan from Fairhope, Alabama in the USA, says Vincent George. So welcome, mate. I hope you are doing very well. If you live in New Zealand, you can watch it on Channel 54, says Hui. And also, we have got their good game so far. Radraja making a huge impact, though, off the bench. The question for Fiji will be, do they start him or do they have him come off the bench? And, I mean, we've seen him do brilliantly in this one in the short period of time he's been out there. Nyatha Levu, I think they will stick with it number 13 for a while. So it's whether or not that number 12 spot's available. Raja Tuisova, a combination out wide, says TK. And Tuisova, mate, how many knock-ons? Says Tari, that is about his 3rd or 4th of the day, I believe. Now ball available for Takalua to fire it back to Malsia. It's a decent amount on that one. Tuisova decides to take it quickly. Actually fires it in with one arm. Now Ngala going forward. He's knocked the ball on now. And Fiji's handling in the second half is really what is costing him. Tamapo. Nice ball on the outside. Now chasing this one. It is going to be the youngster for Tomafalau. Right. All available now for Fiji. What channel is the game on in New Zealand? It's on Sky Sports Select for us here. That one's kicked into touch by Ravatamunda. Doesn't get a huge amount of distance on it, maybe about 15 meters out from the line. But this is once again going to be a very important patch in the game. And also we have got the switch to Isova, says Jabi. So they still have Ben Vula. So whether or not they go with Vula 12 or maybe Caleb Muntz number 12, they'll look to use two fly halves. Could be an option. That would be the only way you take Tuisova off, I believe, due to the fact that they have made that change of Simi Radradra already. Is Sam Molly in on the second half? He is indeed. Has made his way out there. They did replace their front row all at once for the Tongans. So they managed to put Molly, Futuaka, and also Kalamatangi all on at the same time. This is going to be a close one. Yep, certainly is. Now thrown in by Sam Molly. Nicely taken by Tonga. Looking to pass that ball back off the line out, but a little bit of an error there. Means that ball wasn't quite as easy to get out the back as they would have liked. Now big attack and run forward from Leva Fafita, already managing to get himself a try in this match. Replacement number 20, I believe it was Sione Vailami. Now Solomoni Funaki, another player who has been close to scoring. And switch that player in Tonga with someone else, says Huiuva. Now nice stepping from Pellegrini. He is on debut in this contest. Tonga, they have given up the ball in the breakdown, and it's Tavera Ikanaveri, who was brilliant for the Fijian draw all throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. Kick downfield now from Fiji. Charles Piatel tests out the step. Naya Thalevu able to tackle him, now going back across to the right. Malakai Fekatoa in the midfield. Shut down and knock on. Semi Radradra, another bit of impact in this game. Now Frank Lamani pops it up now to Ngala again. Big shot coming in between the number 4s. Nasela tackled by Fafita. And the penalty goes the way of Fiji. Someone needs to smack run faster. Says Rose and tell you what, Fiji have gone for the quick tack and go. Now nice spin from Ngwala. Looked for the offload for half a second to Celestino Ravatamunda, but decides instead that the safer option is to hang on to that ball. That's a massive shot coming in on Luke Tangi by, I believe it was in the end, Hala Whainua. Now, Caleb Muntz breaking through, beating Sam Losi for pace. Now looking for the next pass, doesn't find it, knocks the ball on the ground. Referee says play on. I believe it should have been a knock on against the Fijians, though. This could be a massive moment in the game. I don't know whether or not they'll go back to have a look at that one. James Dolman on the touch side said it was not a knock on either. Now Luke Tangi knocks the ball on, and the Fijians will actually end up with the ball. A well-close game, says Marcy. Certainly is an exciting game between these two Pacific Island nations. Bodies flying everywhere. And also, hey, bro, tell us the points. At the moment, it is still sitting 26 points to 20, although rather than 71 minutes through this contest, we are actually 67. So plenty of time left. Don't talk about the Kalitahi. That would make the commentary slightly difficult, seeing as they are playing in the game. And they're still going to win, says Huiua. They're going to take on the 3 points here, Fiji. Very strategic. Far out, that's too messy, says Daddy Bear. See, I thought I saw a knock on from Caleb Muntz in the breakdown. We're going to get to see a replay of it here. Did he knock it on when he got tackled? Yeah, commentators are saying they thought that he lost it as well. Where are they on the pitch, says Teddy? For this one, they are only sitting about 25 meters out for Caleb Muntz. So more than capable of being able to get this one over for him. And Tonga will win, says Mali, and Bulavanaka says Huiuva. Or the Huiuva, I should say. And bro, what's the point right now? At the moment, it is sitting 26-20, but if Muntz gets this over, it will end up being 29 points to 20, and that difference in points will be the 9, which could be just enough in this one. Calum Muntz has got the kick over, doing very well throughout the day, and that now makes the score 29 points to 20 in favour of Fiji, who's playing well for both sides, brother, says Masi. So of the Tongan side, it's a tricky one. There's been so many good players throughout this match. I feel like Takalua, he's had a pretty solid game. Tamapo on the outside at number 13, he has been good. Piatel when he's had the chance, but he hasn't had a huge amount of ball throughout this match. And also Halaifanua, even though he got yellow carded, he was very good throughout the rest of the game. Then for the Fijians, who's been the standout? Tuisui's had some pretty strong runs. Tuisova at times has been strong, but he has just been dropping that ball quite a bit. Naya Thalevu strong. And then also off the bench, we've seen some real impact from Semi Radara. And Mwala, he's dropped ASAP skills. So I guess the question is, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have him at 15, who are you going with? I'm excited to see the options. I know that they've got Izoa Druasisi, could be a chance. Kiranel Rasaku playing, not for this game, unfortunately, Kimaneli Rasaku, but maybe for the next game up against Samoa. They will give him a chance. Now Tonga on attack again, currently sitting 29 points to 20. Nice run forward again from Tonga, and Manupaia now out there on the field to replace Makalua. And go Tonga, run faster, says Huiuha. If only Tonga kept the same team as last week, says Masi. And this over should have won. Well, this over should have been won easily. WTF happened this half, says Robert Green. Yeah, it's been a lot closer throughout this one in the second half. Like, we need to remember, Fiji were up 20, or sorry, not quite 20, 19 points to 0 after 13 minutes of this game. And then from there, Tonga have systematically just got themselves a little bit back into the contest. Another penalty against the Fijians there. And now Tonga have got themselves a 5-metre line out. In fact, it's more 10 metres out, just a little bit further than it was. Scoreboard's been slow. Again, 19-0. What, says Masi? Yeah, Fiji, they got themselves a penalty try. Naya Thalevu scored, and then Sam Matavesi, all scoring within 14 minutes, while Tonga were down a man with a yellow card. So this has been a tremendous fight from Tonga to be able to keep in this contest for as long as they have. And if they score now, they are more than back in it. Now another penalty advantage. Have to wonder how long it will be before Fiji end up with a man in the bin. And just like the All Blacks, they win the game in the first half, says MJL. Yeah, it was definitely going to be a big amount that they had to make back up. And to be fair, they haven't done too badly in terms of being able to bring it back. We need a line off Burger Sugar, says Marley. And close scoreline, Fiji should have taken it to 50 plus. And not even now, just 6 points lead. Although 9 now. It did take a little while for it to update the score, but just that little bit more of a lead for the Fijians. Looks like they are going to be taking the quick tap here. Tonga from 7 metres out of the line. Oh, trying to make those extra metres. Big shot coming in on Kalamatangi. Fiji, they need to defend with everything they've got at the moment, because if there is another try scored, this game could be won in the final moments of the fixture. Similar to what we saw between Australia and Argentina. It's a knock-on from Manupaia. Unfortunately, ended up hitting into his own player's foot. And it's knocked on. And now it is going to be, with 8 minutes remaining, a Fijian scrum feed. Come on, Tonga, show him, says Masi. And also, sorry, there was a glitch. The score should be corrected now. Says Rosenan. And I feel like Fiji isn't taking the game serious, says Daddy Bear. I mean, I think they're just well and truly, I'd say they'd just be surprised with how well Tonga has played in this game. Like I mentioned, last year they won 36-0 for the Fijians, no worries at all. But this year, Tonga have just pushed them throughout this game, and Fiji's discipline has been, unfortunately, way less than it needs to be. We saw that for the Fijian draw. It actually cost them certain games throughout the season. Who's the next fixture for Tonga and Fiji, says Blues next. So Tonga will be going on to face Japan next week. That is going to be an evening game. It actually does overlap with New Zealand versus Australia. And then Fiji will be playing Samoa. That's going to be a great game. Pacific Island going head to head. Frank Lamani now thought about feeding that ball in, but won't be able to get it through the gap. Miss you, Uncle, says Alessi. And unlucky Manu Paya, says Caleb, with the laughing face in there as well. But 3 minutes past the 70 mark, 7 to go. Every scrum uses up an extra about 30 seconds, so Fiji won't mind this too much. Just trying to close out this game still with that 9-point lead. Tonga versus Tonga A, Japan, considering how many Tongans they have, says Marcy. And also we have got there, don't lose hope, guys, says Pamela. Talking about Simon Rewalui, head coach of the Fijians. Now, ball fed in by Lamani. So he's actually stayed out there on the field the whole time, and the penalty goes the way of Fiji. They thought about taking the quick tap for half a second there. Lamani was keen, but then he remembered we need to get this ball down the field a little bit further. Folau playing, he is not. He's actually missing from this lineup. And I have to say, with the fact that he is not there, and a lot of people heavily rely on Israel Folau in this Tongan side now, it's brilliant news for Tonga that even without him, they have been able to play very well in this fixture. We'll go like this. We'll go like this. There we go. Now the line out throw for the Fijians. Massive opportunity here to be able to take out the first game of the Pacific Nations Cup. It's a rough throw, but it's picked up by Semi Radradra. And I'm sure if they knew it was going to go to that man, they would have thrown it over the top every day of the week. Now Lamani looks off to the left-hand side. Semi Radradra trying to break his way through. Finds the offload up to Ravatamunda. He has been sensational, Radradra, since making his way off the bench. Now chucking the big men at the line again. This time it's Luke Tangi. Caleb Muntz pass on the right. Now nice step coming from Ben Vulavula, I believe it was supposed to be, but it didn't look like Vulavula. That was a massive bump off from Tuisova. Just sat the youngster down. Big running forward from Roni Maui. And now the penalty goes to Fiji. They might consider another 3 points here. Don't worry, I'm a nice comment. I'm not swearing, says Pamela. And then Tuisova channeling his inner Lomu. That was a fantastic run, not just from him, but also from Radradra. Yeah, that is not Ben Vulavula. He was supposed to be number 22 in this fixture, but instead of him, he looked so familiar. Was it Kimanelia Rasaku? Or was it, who was number 22, ladies and gentlemen? Anyone who was watching the game, who did they just throw? Except for Masi should have been on, says Jabiz. And my grandpa had a Fiji girlfriend, says Marley. And Radradra is really good, like really good, says Liv for Yashua. Now, what channel is this on? I couldn't find the game anywhere. Seems like it was a cracking game from the UK, says Glindois. Hopefully I said that correctly, but I feel like I may have mispronounced that, so I do apologise. This game for me was on Sky Sport here in New Zealand. In the UK, it's a shame that they weren't showing this game in a lot of places around the world, because it would have been more successful, I feel, than the Tonga versus Australia A game that they showed on YouTube. Like, they could have had a few 100,000 viewers in total. Listen, thanks for the commentary, bro. Says your grandfather. Thank you very much. Both teams have a lot of penalties. How it could be the cause. Yeah, there's been a lot of penalties throughout this game. That is for sure. 2 meters out from the line now for Fiji. They decided to go for the corner rather than taking on the 3. And with only 3 minutes remaining on the clock, now that ball, is it available? It's a Fijian scrum from 5 meters out due to it collapsing. Too many bodies on the ground, thus said. The newsman, what's the point? And also a great match now. Let's go to bed, church tomorrow, says Liv for Yashua. I should mention we have got another game just around the corner for anyone interested. It is Samoa taking on Japan. We will be covering that game on the channel as well. Is it full time? Not quite, just a little bit longer. 2 minutes remaining on the clock now. Do you think Oz, New Zealand, Box, and Argentina should have played again this week as well as next week, says Hanoi? I think it's nice that they get a break, mainly because South Africa, they did have to go back to South Africa. It's not too bad for New Zealand and Australia, but South Africa have gone from South Africa to New Zealand to then have to go back to South Africa for their next game. So I do like the fact that they've given them that week to be able to regather. I would have thought Oceania Rugby, I would have streamed this, or even Flow Rugby. Yes, so I agree. I thought that it was going to be on Oceania Rugby. Flow Sports, I believe, have the next game, don't they, if I'm not wrong? So they have Japan versus Samoa. But I have no idea why so many broadcasting options have gone, we're going to show Japan Samoa, but we're not going to show Fiji Tonga. I feel like it's disrespectful to these two sides. They're a part of that same competition that Samoa and Japan are playing in. It is the Pacific Nations Cup. So to only show one game of round one seems really strange to me, rather than showing both. They do have them next on Flow Rugby, says Sai. And if Tonga loses, this means will Tonga remember go to church tomorrow, says Pamela. And Fiji, says Sawani. And there as well. In Samoa and Japan, I got Japan by 13. Also, we have got there, can't watch it in Australia, sucks. But thanks for the commentary, mate. Much appreciated, says Vanan. I believe it's actually on NITV in Australia, Vanan. If you do sign up with your email, you should be able to watch the game, although there are only, of course, 2 minutes remaining. This is a big scrum from Fiji, and it's going to be the try. Pini Matawalu gets the last try of this fixture. World Rugby has their own agenda at the moment, says Blues Note. Yeah, because even the Pacific Nations Cup 2022, I believe they were streaming on World Rugby as well. And unlucky Tonga, go to sleep now, church tomorrow, says Caleb. And the Fiji guy took his own players' leads to score. And also T Clutch in 99 has said talking something, which I assume is bad. But hello, hope you're doing all right. And signed, sealed, delivered, says Daddy Bear in there as well. So yeah, that will extend the lead for Fiji. But let's not get it wrong. Tonga were right in this contest, which is fantastic to see. And now we move on to next week. After, of course, that game between the Samoans and the Japanese that has taken place in only 1 hour's time. We will be covering that one on the channel as well. So anyone who is new, sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got the action next week for the Pacific Nations Cup. This game taking place and the one next, as well as pretty much every other international rugby game that's being shown here. We will be commentating on as well. We would have watched it for free, says a Rose Nun. And also a sleep time for Tonga. And yes, try to Fiji, Pini Matawalu was the try scorer. Muntz just taking a couple of extra seconds to use up the rest of the clock. And did Fiji coach play all new debut? Says Savito. Actually, now that you say that, did Te Ahuaru Thrikadavita make his way out onto the field? I don't believe I mentioned him, but I'd like to think they gave him a little bit of an opportunity. It's exclusively Samoa only for Flow Rugby Lane, says so. That's actually the case here in New Zealand as well for TVNZ. They've got a Samoa only deal, but they aren't showing this first game between Samoa and Japan, so it doesn't really hugely make sense. And yeah, we can sleep now. We haven't slept last night, says Pamela. It's going to be the knock-on. In fact, it's going to be the penalty. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. There's still a little bit longer left in this game. The clock was wrong. So just a little bit more. It's currently sitting 34 points to 20 after the kick was missed. So Tonga now have one last chance. Now, the thing with Tonga is they can get within 7, which I believe they would end up getting a bonus point for in the competition, the way that it is laid out. In neutral, I'm just here for the rugby, says Sai. And also we have Gadevanaka Hamish. And come on, Tonga, says Itun Kola. That's the thing. They've got one last chance here to get one last try, make it 27 on the board. Or 25, depending on if the kick goes over. They're only 5 meters out from the line now. So Ulamali throws it. It's not straight, unfortunately. And with that not straight throw, that will be the end of the game. And it is going to be 34 points to 20 in favour of the Fijians. Now, we did see Fiji have a 19-0 lead. Then from there, Tonga were able to hang on. They've got the rules wrong. They have to now have a scrum before the end of the game due to it not being straight. The Paul Williams, because it wasn't straight, they have to go one more. Oh, the question is, do Fiji have one last crack from 95 meters away from the opposition try line? Do they decide to go once more? But that is the third false start or the second false finish that we've had in this one. And Tavita had play. He got a little bit of time, Tavita Ikanaviri, which was nice to see. But yeah, the main amount of time out there on the field was for Sam Matavisi. Right on, well, Tonga missed up that opportunity. Says King of Cacao. Now Fiji with Penny Matawalu. We're going to feed this ball in. It still seems like Fiji might. There was a little bit of an eyebrow raise there from Matawalu. I don't think Fiji want to put this ball out. They give it off to Kayla Mutz. He will kick it out. It's going to be the end of the game now, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned, there is another game just around the corner. It kicks off in an hour, and that will be the game between Samoa and Japan. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. It has been hugely appreciated, everyone being here for the stream. We've got plenty more in the future. Like I mentioned, if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all for the next one.